What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 10.
10. I'm trying to get in the camera.
Of the Frontline Film podcast. As you can see, we are together. I don't know why, but here we are. You know, we're going to try something new for episode 10. But yeah, we got some movie news this week. A couple little trailers. And finally, we get to talk about Daredevil. Daredevil Born Again just came out. We got the first 2 episodes, so we're going to talk about that. Obviously, we're going to react to Severance, the most recent episode, and then we have a movie review for Mickey 17, Bong Joon-Ho's new movie with Robert Pattinson.
Sir.
So, got some fun stuff. First of all, thank you all for making it to episode 10. I honestly didn't know if it would go this far, but we're having fun, and we're going to keep doing it. So, thank you all for watching. Continue to show some support and like and comment and subscribe, all that fun stuff. It's Friday night. We got some beverages. Crack open a cold one. And let's talk some movies. So, how's it hanging?
It's hanging. We just had some of the best pizza we've ever had in our life. And yeah, now we cracked open a couple beers. And we're going to talk, I would say, our favorite pastime.
Yeah. Sounds like a W.
Absolutely.
All right. So I got the outline up right here. Okay. First thing. Literally earlier today, a couple hours ago, they released a new teaser for Thunderbolts. Very different teaser than I feel like anything we've ever gotten from Marvel. They actually recognized the talent of the actors and the director and cinematographer and even the composer. A lot of different people got love in this trailer, even though it was only a minute long. But basically, just highlighting the amount of skill that all of the people that came together to make this movie have. Really, really good little trailer. You got a couple little things we hadn't seen yet. I think this movie's just gonna rule. Everything that we're seeing of it, the more stuff that gets released, I'm more excited for it. And then what did Florence say earlier, or she said it a couple days ago?
She said it's like an A24 film. And I can't remember the exact wording she used. She might have used spy thriller or something like that, but with superheroes. And it seemed everything you're seeing on Twitter or social media, even the actors that are involved in it, and obviously Marvel, who is showcasing who is helping make the film, from the editor to the composer to cinematographer, all of that was recognized in this trailer. Everyone is so excited for this movie, and it does feel like this is very different from Marvel. They don't do this, and I am wondering why they chose the Thunderbolts to do this. It's very odd. This isn't really a movie that even when it was announced, I feel like this was not a movie that everybody was going to be excited for.
I mean, I wasn't even that excited for it, to be honest.
But now with the trailers and
the marketing behind it and everything,
it's been so good.
The Wheaties box, everything that they've done is just, they've definitely gone above and beyond trying to get. I think they're just trying to get people on board with a more a different kind of MCU movie, especially the Suicide Squad version of Marvel.
Yeah.
So, I'm very, very excited. We definitely got some theories already kind of floating around about who we think makes it and doesn't, but we'll save those for another time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we're stoked for Thunderbolts. That's early May, so literally only month and a half away. We're getting close. It's almost summertime. It's almost blockbuster season.
Yeah.
So we're about to have so much crap to talk about. Can't wait.
Yeah, no, it's the best time of the year. There's something about, even growing up, you don't have to go to school in the morning, but on the weekends you're it's going to be a good movie this weekend. Or your biggest movies coming out this summer. But Thunderbolts is doing an amazing job. I think that they really, now you can say whether it was marketed bad or not, but they really, really marketed Captain America. I felt like they were just putting it everywhere. Everyone knew it was coming out. Everyone knew when it was coming out. Everyone knew everything. Now, whether that, hindered the story of the movie or the big reveal of the movie, whatever. But, no, the Thunderbolts have done such a good job, I think, showcasing and being different, like showcasing all the unique characters you're getting, all the actors you're getting, and all the different like people they have brought onto this movie. Now, whether it's a good movie or not, we'll have to find out in May. But all signs are pointing to this is going to be a good movie, especially for Marvel.
Yeah.
And it would just be so funny, especially like a movie that you and I weren't excited about, and some people probably weren't excited about, to be like
one of the best of the year.
Yeah, holy cow, this is such a good movie.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for it. We're gonna kind of keep talking a little more Marvel here in a little bit with the Daredevil review, but yeah, no, Thunderbolts looks sick. Really enjoying what they're doing, so that'll be out soon. Another trailer we got this week was for Apple TV's new show coming out later in the month, The Studio, with Seth Rogen. Also just has a massive cast. It's basically just like, show following a studio exec in Hollywood. And I have always loved movies and shows that like are about Hollywood and about movie making. So this show is definitely like going to be right up both of our alleys. And it's on Apple, who doesn't mess with the shows. Sometimes their movies are, whatever. But, yeah, this being on Apple, and apparently, like, early reviews are saying it is, like, absolutely incredible. I think I also saw somewhere that, like, each episode is one long take. I don't know if that's true or not, but I think I saw that tweet somewhere. So if so, it looks very cool. It's going to have all kinds of people in it. Like, I think Zac Efron, Scorsese, Adam Scott, Anthony Mackie, like literally so many people. So I think it's going to be kind of like meta, kind of like fourth wall breaking, sort of. So.
No, it would be cool to see. It was definitely a movie like.
A show.
A show that you can compare to the movie like Saturday Night Live or Saturday Night, which is like before the first episode ever of Saturday Night Live, which we both really enjoyed, and it gives you the stresses, and then when it actually comes through, it's that triumph of them actually succeeding. Mm-hmm. We don't know, what the whole. We don't know like Seth Rogen's like how his character's gonna act. Is he loved? Is he hated? Like all of that. But obviously, like he wants to succeed. He wants to make the most money possible, and he wants to do it by making good movies at the same time. And multiple times in the trailer, they were like, "It can't be done. Like you have to pick one." And even he's saying like some new director's coming in and wants to make a new movie, pitching a new script, and he's even saying like we follow a strict like set of rules. This is how we do it. This is how our movies look, and and it's gonna be interesting to see, and maybe it's throwing shots at some people at the same time. Like when we watch the show, we can pick up on stuff, but Seth Rogen, I think, does kind of go overlooked on like he is so funny. He is obviously hilarious.
Oh, he's one of the goats for sure.
But he can be serious when he needs to be. Like he has shown that he can flip the switch just like that. And I'm excited to see Seth Rogen for more than just 2-hour movie. Like we get to see him in a whole show, and he is the main character. And I expect big things. It's Apple TV, and they don't miss.
So here's a list of everyone that's been confirmed for the show: Ice Cube, Zac Efron, Paul Dano, Seth Rogen, Adam Scott, Ron Howard, Zack Snyder, Kathryn Hahn, Devin Bostic, Steve Buscemi, Bryan Cranston, Charlize Theron, Anthony Mackie, Martin Scorsese, Catherine O'Hara. Like it's gonna have so many people in it. And what I think it's gonna end up being like is basically The Bear. I think it's gonna be a show like The Bear, but instead of in a kitchen, it's on a movie studio, which is like. That sounds like a match made in heaven because we love The Bear so much and we love movies. So I think this show has the potential to be like, one of the best shows of the year, if not the best. So when that comes out in a couple weeks, we'll definitely like probably be watching and reacting to that as well. Because I think literally like right after Severance finishes, this show starts. So definitely still got some good stuff coming our way from Apple TV Plus.
Yeah, they seem to be all over the TV show like market. They obviously have, like he said, like movies are hit or miss, but like their TV shows can do one thing, and that's make you talk about them. And Severance has done that regardless. Like it's been so good, it's taking over social media. And if the studio is good and they have Severance rolling into the studio, they're gonna be like people are gonna they're already talking about them, but everybody needs to be watching something from Apple TV, whether it be shows that I haven't seen and he's seen, like the Shrinking or Silo, or you can probably name more, Ted Lasso, stuff like that. And then, of course, Severance, and then the studio coming in right after Severance, which is already being thrown around as amazing television. So I have no doubt that Apple TV cooked again. And like he said, the early reviews are very, very positive, which is insane. You would think they would miss one time, but they're not.
They haven't.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you just kind of bumped the whole table there.
Oh, my fault.
You got excited.
Yeah.
Got excited talking about movies.
I know.
So yeah, that's the studio. We're definitely very pumped for that. We'll be probably live reacting to that, so stay tuned. And then the last thing that we wanted to talk about, last little bit of news, came across our feeds. We literally had just talked about this like last week or 2 weeks ago in an episode. David Arquette is going to be returning as Dewey in the next Scream movie, in Scream 7. I mean, I guess it's going to have to be in flashbacks.
Yeah, the people that they're bringing back are just,
he got gutted. Like,
we saw his dead body.
Like, very dead body. He definitely 100% died. Intestines everywhere, all like gross. So, and it's weird. Literally, just a week ago, you were talking about how like his death was so sad. It still hits you, and then you get the news literally a couple days later. They're like, "Oh, he's coming back." So, everyone's coming back. He's coming back. Matthew Lillard. I think Neve Campbell's coming back.
I can't even remember the dude's name from the third one. The brother, the stepbrother, or whatever, the half brother. He's coming back. And all these people are, three that we just mentioned are dead, and we know they're dead. Because horror movie tropes like, oh, you didn't see a dead body, they're not really dead. We've seen plenty of dead bodies in Scream to know when people are dead. So it'll be very interesting to see. Dewey is so lovable, though, in the Scream franchise. Like, yeah, his death did suck. Like, it did actually. It was pretty sad. And you were like, no, why Dewey? But, nah, I mean, if they bring him back, I would think it's in a flashback or something. If it's not, then
he comes back as the killer.
I don't know, man.
I don't know how they're going to do it, but, I mean, hey. So this Scream movie is going to be either really good and nostalgic, or it's going to be horrible.
I'm starting to think it's going to be on the horrible side of the movie.
Dude, I don't know if this is going to be a good movie. There's, the whole cast, like, left, and then they had to completely, shift gears and write a new story, and they're bringing back all these old characters that are dead. So I don't know. We're gonna have to see. I don't even know when that comes out, but probably in the next year or two. So we're just gonna have to wait and see how old Dewey's coming back. So that's pretty much all the news and trailers and stuff for this week. Wasn't a ton.
It was a very slow week.
Slow week, like movie news and trailer wise. But
and trust me, guys, we are on Twitter like all the time. Yeah. So we would have seen something.
There was not a lot of stuff. So, but luckily we have some fun stuff to talk about. Some fun reviews.
We do.
And first of all, as we've done every week, we're gonna talk about Severance. We're gonna talk about the most recent episode of Severance, episode 8. Shortest episode of the show. Like 35 minutes. It's basically the Harmony Cobell episode. You kind of find out what she's been up to. You also get some good backstory about her and her life and where she came from. And you just kind of learn a little bit more about her character. I texted you after. I didn't love the episode. I think it's probably the weakest episode of the whole show. I think it's something that could have been in like a 5-minute, segment of an episode. I don't think it needed its whole episode. But I mean, there are some pretty huge things that you learn by the end of this episode, which we'll get into. But yeah, I didn't just love this episode. Definitely, I feel like it was a filler, other than like the last couple minutes where they make that reveal. But what did you think?
So it was. I didn't actually hate that. Like, I'm not as low on it as you are. Do I think it's a weak episode compared to the rest of the series? Probably. I think Miss Cobell is an interesting character. I think we all agree with that. Like, she's very interesting, We didn't know much about her at first, and even then, when she left at the beginning of the season, we hadn't even seen her again. Like, we just didn't know where she was. We get some other characters that she's interacted with in the past. We see the first Lumen factory in this area, and I think that's pretty interesting because they're out in the middle of God knows where.
Alaska
I mean,
or something.
I don't even know. And then not only that, but we find out a big reveal that we'll mention in a second. And then I do think that it is very interesting that this was the shortest episode of the show because I feel like they set up. I feel like there was a lot said in the 37 minutes, but they just couldn't come up with anything else, and that's why it's 13 minutes shorter than the rest of the show. Like, it's very odd that this one was the shortest one, and I feel like it could have been very important, but we ran out of things to just do in this episode. I mean, they're in the middle of nowhere. They're at a house that has a history to Miss Cobell, but the only thing we really know is the big reveal, and then at 12, she was taken away to be somewhere, and then her mom is passing away. I don't even know. It's just a lot. Like, it was, and I don't even think there was that much dialogue in the episode.
No, there wasn't. I will say I didn't love the episode, but like some of the cinematography of the town, and stuff was really really good.
Yeah.
So we can get into the reveal now. Spoilers. Basically, you find out that Harmony, essentially, when she was a kid, completely invented the concept of severance. She has a notebook that she like came up with everything on, and apparently, as it goes with a lot of big companies, Lumen stole her idea. So I'm sure we'll kind of see the implications and the fallout of that. It is interesting to learn that out of her childhood trauma that she literally came up with Severance. Yeah, and I'm sure maybe she's going to kind of, flip and turn on, like, be on Mark's side and trying to go against Lumen. As I feel like after this episode, like, up until this episode, you think she, like, fully goes hard for Lumen. But now, like, I feel like she has every reason to go against them. So, maybe kind of be, could be some good character development for her. Maybe she kind of, flips to the good side, or what we think is the good side. I mean, who knows anymore?
We don't.
But yeah, I mean, it wasn't just horrible, but I do think it was, like, personally for me, the weakest of the show. But you definitely get some important insight. I think that's going to be important for the last couple episodes. I can't believe we only have 2 left.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to wrap everything up in 2 episodes. They're not. They're just going to leave us with questions, but we'll just have to face that moment when it comes. But yeah, so that's Severance, episode 8.
We're done? I still had a couple things.
What did you have to say? Go.
Yeah, remember when Mark and Gemma, or Miss Casey at the time, were having that conversation in the therapy or the wellness room. And Miss Cobell is really, really intrigued about this conversation, and it almost looked like she was wanting them to remember each other. That was like the whole point, I feel like, of that scene. And we get back to this episode, and we find out she's the one that created Severance. Okay, yeah. And then we find out, like, she has her reasons for hating Lumen, but still, she made Severance. I mean, she was the mastermind behind what's going on in the whole show. I do think it is interesting that I think she is trying to figure out ways, like, she wants reintegration to be possible, but there's not really a reason why she wants reintegration to be possible. She wanted to see it between Miss Casey and Mark. She didn't get it. She was disappointed. Now she's obviously super, super excited, like, when she gets a phone call from Devin, and she's like, is Mark, Mark's okay? Yeah, I think he's okay. Let me talk to him. Like, she wants to know, like, what's going on. Because she even makes a comment, like, I don't even know the girl's name that's working on Mark. Do you know her name off the top of your head?
It's a weird name.
Yeah. She was like, wow, she didn't kill him. And she's obviously shocked by this. She wants to talk to Mark. She wants reintegration to be possible, but the question I want to know is, why does she want reintegration to be possible when she's the one that came up with Severance? Is it to be the downfall of Lumen, or is she wanting people to remember stuff like she created Severance out of trauma to be able to forget trauma, and it makes sense why Cold Harbor, or like what we think is Cold Harbor, because you and I both know that was a Cold Harbor in that episode.
The movie was set, or the show was set in a Cold Harbor episode. So,
and she obviously had trauma in the Cold Harbor. Gemma has not opened that Cold Harbor yet. I see where they want to go, but like there's still questions of like how do we get there in less than 2 hours? Because the next 2 episodes are going to be, I mean, dude, unless they're a sprint, I mean, we have a lot to learn.
You got to hit the ground running.
We have a lot to learn.
I still want to know what's up with the goats, man.
We have no idea about the goats.
There's just so many freaking questions. You get Brienne of Tarth for like 5 minutes in an episode, and then we haven't heard from her since. There's so many things like that, but yeah, 2 more episodes of Severance. We'll just have to, hopefully they haul ass and give us some answers.
There's a lot to do.
We want some answers, damn it.
The only answer that we got is why, like Severance. How was Severance created? And now we know. But that was a question we had when the show started.
Yeah.
So we waited almost 2 seasons for that.
Yeah. But hey, now we know a little more. So, yeah, that's Severance. And now, for the moment I've all been waiting for, we finally get to talk about Daredevil Born Again. Oh my God. I am so happy.
How do you want to do this? Take this episode by episode?
Yeah.
Episode 1 and episode 2?
Yeah. As you all know, I just recently rewatched Daredevil.
They made a big claim.
The Netflix on it. The Netflix show. And I said that I think Daredevil 3 is probably my number 3 show of all time. I've always struggled figuring out what it is, and upon rewatch, like, it's just an unreal show. So my excitement for Born Again was through the roof, even more so than it already was. I'm very glad that I rewatched the original Daredevil. So, yeah, so we got the 2-episode premiere. You see the return of Matt Murdock and Karen and Foggy, and you get some Wilson Fisk and some Bullseye. Yeah, and you just kind of see, it basically starts off, you kind of get to catch up with these characters a little bit until some stuff goes down. And the big thing that happens that we'll talk about here in a second is obviously like the catalyst for the rest of the show, of all the events of the show. But yeah, right off the bat, man, it was so cool seeing all of them walk out and go to the bar together to Josie's. Foggy still got his way with women. He was a ladies' man in the Daredevil show. Still a ladies' man, but yeah, it's just kind of cool to see them like really officially in this MCU world, and how life is down in Hell's Kitchen, where they're at. And everything seems to be going great. They're having a great time at the bar. And then Foggy gets a phone call, and shit hits the fan. Do you want to take the reins?
Yeah, man. So obviously we get this. I mean, just a really cool scene. Matt is listening, obviously, to Karen talk about whatever it was. And, he has the heightened senses. So he hears Foggy, and it kind of pans through the crowd of everything he can hear solely on Foggy. He said something's wrong. They get up and go out there. And Foggy makes the comment after they have a couple words that I didn't want to involve you again, or force to involve you again. Matt just turns around, looks at him, and we see what has been so long. Charlie Cox as Daredevil, and he uses his little, like, I don't even know what to call him.
The little baton.
Yeah, little baton
with the string on it.
He goes up. You see a cool shot, which has been getting hate on Twitter. Why can't you just watch cool stuff and just shut up and watch? Stop doing that. You're just being a hater. We get him running across, and that's when we see Bullseye on the phone with the little clicks, aiming
down a scope at Mr. Foggy Nelson. Yeah, as I'm sure if you all watch, you guys know what happens. Yeah, Bullseye shoots Foggy. It was all like a misdirect thing He got Matt away from him.
Right through the heart.
And then shot Foggy right in the chest. And then basically, like, Matt gets there just a little bit too late. We get an epic, awesome fight sequence between Matt and Bullseye.
Throughout the
bar, up the staircase, all the way to the roof. It was a oneer. It was, Daredevil's known for its cool oneers and fight sequences. And you literally get that in the first 10 minutes here. Absolutely incredible, like, one shot. And throughout the whole fight, Matt can hear Foggy's heartbeat.
It is.
It's like slowly slowing down.
It is unreal. I mean, because you are so invested in the fight, but all I can think about is the heartbeat, and it's slowly getting like further apart. You can tell that it's not looking good. Karen is just emotional and trying to just cover the blood coming out of his chest. And when he gets to the top and Bullseye's looking over and he said, why would you do this? And he looks over and he can hear the last heartbeat of Foggy in there. Bullseye just laughs. I mean, it's sinister. I did this because I can, and there's nothing you can do about it. He laughs. He pats Matt on the shoulder as it's a joke. And Charlie Cox, man, the emotion in that, 20 seconds is unreal. He screams, he yells, and he just breaks. He breaks. He throws Bullseye right off that damn ledge. And no remorse. He breaks down, and obviously Karen, I think it was a cool little part, she gasped,
because
she probably thinks it's Matt.
She didn't know who it is. Yeah, she
turns around. She obviously has a sigh of relief.
She's over on Foggy. She's already lost one of her friends, and when she hears that, it's like, oh my God, did I just lose both of them?
Yeah.
And she slowly turns around. She's covered in blood and realizes it's Bullseye. But, just literally the first 15 minutes of this, after all this time waiting, and this is how the show starts, I couldn't have had it a better way. Obviously, we're very sad that Foggy died. He was absolutely incredible in the original show. So, but I was listening to creators talk about it, and they were like that we needed a reason to come back. We needed a reason for the storyline to happen, for find out why Matt had retired as Daredevil, and this was the reason. So. Obviously, he's gonna come back as Daredevil. But there was a year-long gap after Foggy died after the events of that night, and he basically is done with Daredevil. Karen leaves, moves to San Francisco.
Yep. I think they moved his law firm is not even in Hell's Kitchen anymore. I think
he works for Matt works for a different higher up law firm with that other girl. So yeah, right off the bat, after all that happens, with our original core three, they all get split up, and I don't honestly know how much more we're going to see of either one of them, in the rest of the show. I think the director said that you still will see some Karen and Foggy, both in this season and in the next season, somehow. I imagine on flashbacks, and maybe. Matt might, kind of see him as a ghost or something, because he did that in seasons 2 and 3 of Daredevil. He saw the ghost of Fisk a lot. So they're all split apart. Matt's had a new law firm, and Fisk is back. He's finally back in New York after the events of Hawkeye and Echo. He had all of the work done on his eye because Echo shot him in the eye.
Cool little.
Yeah, a little
ode to that.
Yeah, and you never watched Echo, did you?
I didn't watch Echo, but I watched Hawkeye. I did not watch Echo.
It's okay. But basically, Fisk is finally back in New York, reunited with Vanessa. We find out that Vanessa is kind of taking over the business, the crime business.
She's kind of a kingpin.
She's kind of the kingpin right now. And Fisk just decides to run for mayor, and he gets elected. He gets elected as mayor of New York.
Because that happens towards the end, at the end of the episode. Real quick, like, just to recap the rest of the first. It's a lot of just like why or what. Oh, we get the trial of Bullseye and
Yeah.
which just a cool little moment there too. By the way, Charlie Cox, man, he just didn't even miss a step. Didn't miss a step. He's very good. Him and Karen's interaction and the little like mannerism he has when he hears Bullseye
He's
is
guilty.
Guilty. He's serving consecutive, I think, like 6 life sentences. He's he just screams and through anger and happiness, like he's not gonna see him again. Which we're definitely gonna see Bullseye again. Let's be honest.
I hope we do. He's so cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then, it's a great episode. Like he said, the first 15 minutes is so good. Because how do you get back after so long, and like how do you capture audiences again? How do you like reel them back in?
That's how you do it.
You don't always have to kill a character, but you not only did you kill a character, you killed a character that is universally like
He's probably the most beloved character in any of like
literally like
a lot of Marvel stuff.
everyone loves Foggy, and man, you can see the light fading from his eyes too. Like man, it's such a good first episode. Cole made the comment. I don't even know if he remembers it, that it is one of the best pilots of a superhero show.
I think it's the best pilot
of a superhero show like ever. I can't disagree. I think it is really, really good.
Yeah, no, the only pilot that I would compare it to isn't even MCU or DC. The pilot of The Boys is really, really good. Whenever you watch that, I'm sure you'll agree. But
that's on my
yeah, and then also in the episode, like I said, it's a year later. Fisk is running for mayor. Matt and Fisk reunite in an awesome scene in a diner.
So good.
Just them two in a diner, talking. After all this time, they've both been through a ton since the last time we saw them together. At the end of Daredevil season 3, Matt, basically wins. He gets Fisk. Fisk is gone back to jail, and then somehow in between that and now, Fisk has gotten out, and now he's like the mayor of New York. I don't really know how all that turned around, but I imagine the blip had something to do with it. He probably got out during or after the blip,
Maybe he didn't get blipped, and there weren't enough. He just ran out. He could have. I mean,
I don't know. But
probably never be answered, but who cares?
Might not. But anyways, Fisk is back, and he's not in really any trouble when he gets elected as mayor of New York. And New York is obviously in the show like they're very, very divided on it.
Yeah, I think the election was relatively close. It wasn't like a landslide. He didn't like win 90% or anything. It was still relatively close. But I think it should be talked about the ending of that episode where Matt's walking through the street and
he's walking in the streets, like kind of in the slums with lit up kind of by the red lights and stuff. And then you got Fisk on the roof, like looking down with the white after he's being elected, and it's kind of like shows both of them kind of coming back into their characters. Like Fisk is finally at the top again. He's illuminated in white. He always has the white suit on, and then you got Matt, like
signature Daredevil
in the shithole of Hell's Kitchen with people all around him, and he's like covered in red. Just unbelievable.
It is so like
unbelievable cinematography.
It's literally so like it's not even anything like I wouldn't say next level. It is basic, but it shows you how much lighting can just play into it. It's such a good ending to the first episode because it was a roller coaster of an episode. I would think like you were just up and down, and at the end you're like, holy cow. Let's watch the second episode. And, but the first episode, I agree, is one of the best pilots of a superhero show, comic book show, probably ever.
I can't name you another one other than maybe The Boys. Like, even Loki's probably the best MCU show we've gotten. And, I mean,
the pilot wasn't...
That pilot wasn't necessarily the best part, you know?
The only one that I think it has, like, a really, really good pilot because of the way it's, like... keeping us out of the loop was Moon Knight, but this one is better than Moon Knight. Man, it is really good. I don't know. They kept us way invested into it after the long hiatus, and they came out with a sprint. And not only did they care about, they really did focus on the emotion of Matt Murdock and how Foggy's death like affected him, and how he's acting the way he is, why he's not Daredevil. He explains all of that, and yeah, it is like a very good setup to what this season could be. I'm super excited. Super excited.
Yeah. So, right off the heels of that, we get episode 2. I got a little 2-episode drop, which I'm glad they did. Mm-hmm. And you just kind of get to see Fisk like transitioning, into his role as mayor, and he's kind of like come to terms with the fact that like I am the mayor of New York. You also find out like him and Vanessa have been having problems because he was gone for so long. Vanessa apparently cheated on him. So now they're in therapy with the girl that Matt is hooking up with, of course. But
that was set up. He didn't,
You think? But
no. Because remember his other attorney that works with him said that she needed a lawyer and that he needed therapy, which he probably could use therapy, but whatever.
Yeah, but old Matt Murdock, he's just got away with the women. But yeah, so you meet her. You meet the therapist. You meet from season 1 of Daredevil. You remember Ben Urich, the news reporter who Fisk murdered. He like choked him out. And then apparently I think it was his niece. Mm-hmm. She said her uncle Ben. Interesting. Mm-hmm. She said her uncle was Ben Urich, and she's like basically like a little video news reporter kind of on the streets kind of thing. And I think her name was BB mm-hmm. Urich, and she goes and interviews Fisk, and it's kind of, the audience knows what really happened. Maybe she doesn't. Fisk obviously knows what happened, and really, really cool like moment if you remember that from season 1 of Daredevil. Yep. I'm curious to see if she has, more of a part to play, or maybe if she somehow discovers the truth. But basically, as Fisk is in office, he's kind of going back and forth with like, I need to stay clean. I'm the mayor now. This is Vanessa. But then as the course of the episode goes on, you kind of see Fisk kind of going back into his old ways of manipulating people. The police chief like threatens to leave. And then he threatens the police chief with like pictures of his family that they took. So Fisk is still up to no good. As I'm sure we all suspected, but now he's in this huge role of power. Yes, somehow he's gonna have to balance that with, being a murderous psychopath. So, what else did we get this episode?
Well, I feel like at the very beginning we find. Can you look up the actor's name for White Tiger? Because I do want to get it right. Yeah. So we get and his name in the show because I want to get it right. And I don't want to mess anything up. But yeah, we see kind of a little storyline of Hector Ayala is his name in the show.
Hector Ayala is White Tiger.
And Kamar de los Reyes. Who sadly passed away in 23 after a battle with cancer. So rest in peace to him, because he was actually really good in this episode. Mm-hmm. But Hector basically walks into the subway and sees 2 guys beating up another guy. And Hector, if you know, or if you don't know, is White Tiger, who is a vigilante, kind of like Daredevil. But I think he doesn't have any real power. I don't think he has anything like Matt Murdock has, I guess.
His amulet has power.
That's what it was.
He has a mystical amulet that gives him some kind of power.
So he walks down and he starts to try to be like, hey, y'all cut it out. And finally, he gets on one of the guys, and it turns out that those 2 guys are cops. And the guy getting beat up runs away, and they end up arresting Hector. Basically, to make it look like he attacked the 2.
And killed one.
Yeah, he threw one in front of a subway, which was sick, by the way. Pretty freaking cool. Throws one in front of the subway car, and he gets evaporated. He's gone. And he gets arrested. The cops are trying to play it as if he went down there unprovoked and killed a police officer. So Matt Murdock hears about the case. He wants to take the case, and the firm is telling him it's too big of a case or it's too risky. Don't take it. But he's like, I want to take it.
He never likes taking the easy route.
Yeah, obviously. And basically what happens, what we find out through whatever her name is, the attorney, the partner, and I'm blanking on names right now.
The investigator?
Yeah, the
His
investigator.
name was Cherry.
Yeah.
I remember that.
They go into the apartment of the wife who they've been divorced. The investigator's snooping around a little bit, and he finds a white tiger outfit. Obviously, Kingpin has already made a statement. He makes in a statement that vigilantes will not be tolerated in the city of New York. So Hector is already, now he's kind of in double trouble. Matt does the smart thing and says, basically, to get thrown out that evidence for the trial. Like, you can't use a white tiger evidence for the trial. So that's kind of where it gets to. It doesn't get much further than that into the trial or anything. We see some basic pre-trial stuff, but basically we find out Hector is white tiger, but that evidence gets thrown out, and which the biggest part of the show is at the end. So that's why I'm trying to not get there. But the goal is to try and find the guy who's being beat up by the two cops. That was the goal they were trying to find. Well, finally we get to it at the end of the episode. Matt is a genius and can hear everything, so he finally hears the address of where the dude is, and the two cops, or one of the cops that was down there, he's going to go to the house and take care of him, obviously. Matt beats him there. He is basically explaining to this guy, you're going to need a good lawyer. You need to get out of here. They're coming to kill you. And what the guy can't hear that Matt can hear is them coming into the building and walking up the stairs. He's like, you have 15 seconds. You have 10 seconds. And then that's when he starts to hear them. You can take this part away. It is absolutely awesome.
Yeah, so Matt gets to him just quick enough, and he escapes down the, what are those called?
Fire escape.
The fire escape. I don't know if he went to the roof or the ground. No, he said Cherry was waiting in the car on the ground, his investigator, to pick him up. So he escapes. The cops walk in. They just see Matt. They talk to him at first. Then they kind of beat the shit out of him. And you can tell so hard, Matt is trying so hard to not fight back. He doesn't want to get back into Daredevil mode. He's been sober from being Daredevil for a year. He don't want to get back into it. And what is he saying?
He said, you don't want to do this.
He's like, you don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. And when you think he's talking to them, but he's actually talking to himself.
He's talking to
himself. They got a gun to his head. He's like, you don't want to do this. You don't want to do this.
They're like, yeah, let's take care of him. Let's take care of him.
And then, of course, Matt just absolutely just obliterates them, breaking elbows,
violent as
slamming people on the fridge, and just slamming dudes, breaking his. He had to have broke his neck. Yeah, you're the chiropractor here. Yeah, no, dude, gets his face slammed, neck broken. I don't know, Matt. I think he had a lot of pent up anger over everything, and just kind of unleashed it on these two cops. And basically, after that happens, he's all bloodied up, and he picks up his red glasses that have, been cracked, and he just lets out a blood curdling scream, and the episode ends.
It is pure,
cinema.
It is exactly. Even the comment, the easy thing. Obviously, he's saying don't do this. He's talking outwards to the cops. Obviously, that's the easy answer. He is telling himself, please do not go back down this route. Once you do this, there is no coming back. It is you are going to be Daredevil if you take this route. And boy, does he take that route. He breaks that dude's arm. Blood is staining his long sleeve shirt. He smokes that dude, throws him on the ground. His neck bends in the most awkward, makes you clench up way. And he's sitting over these two guys. And he just he's breathing heavy, but he just calmly picks up those glasses. He's not just he's not doing any of that. He picks up his glasses, he puts them on, and he lets it out.
Yeah, he lets the devil out. So, I think that these first two episodes were kind of like, how is Matt going to get back into being Daredevil, and then you get it at the end of this. So, I know, like, during the course of production and then when the trailers came out and everything, the Netflix creator, or the Born Again creators were saying, like, yeah, like, it's just as, graphic and, like, bloody as the Netflix show, and you're just kind of thinking in your head, no way.
There's
like,
no
they're
way.
not going to do that. They're not going to have it that dark and, violent. And by God, they did. Like, it's very much a mature show. Got some F-bombs in it, so that's how like, it's not, for the kids. It's a dark, violent, gritty, serious show.
And we brought this up, like, when they were going to do Deadpool and Wolverine. Like, are they going to keep it true? Well, they did there. And damn it, they did here too. Like, it is not any less, like, graphic, dark, gritty, choreographed at all.
No.
It is just as good as you remember.
If not, even a little more so. And based off the stuff we've seen in the trailers, like, it just, he messes some people up this season. So I'm excited to see more of it. He's finally kind of back in the role, and that's kind of where we leave it. I'm trying to think of anything we left out. I don't think so. I think that kind of covered everything. We'll have to see kind of how the trial with Hector turns out. Now we also get our first look at Muse. Potentially we think it's Muse.
We know it's Muse.
I don't know much about Muse at all, like who he is or what he does.
Apparently he's insane.
And he gets
a book signed.
He gets a book signed by the therapist that Matt is hooking up with, who also now
is counseling
Fisk and Vanessa. So
this therapist is about to be in the middle of everything, and she doesn't even know.
Everything's intertwining, but curious to see kind of how he plays in. Is he a vigilante? Like, is he good or is he a villain? I don't even know. Is Muse a villain?
I think he's a villain. Yeah.
So I guess
apparently,
we'll have to see.
I actually was going to watch a video on it, but I didn't want it spoiled, so that's why I didn't watch a video on it. So, anyways, but yeah, no, Muse is coming for sure. Obviously, Kingpin is going to play a gigantic role.
I really hope we get more of Wilson Bethel as Bullseye, because dude, he did. And God, that 15-minute scene. Oh my God.
Yeah, Bullseye will be back. I have no doubt that Bullseye will be back. We don't know how he survived. In the comics, Cole found out that he has an adamantium skeleton.
At the end, the literal, I don't know if you even remember, at the end of season 3 of Daredevil, Fisk throws him up against the corner and he breaks his back. He's paralyzed.
Yeah.
And the literal last scene of it, it's almost like an after credit scene type thing. Is him laying down, with his back cut open, and they're like, surgically repairing it. So in the comics, apparently they gave him an adamantium skeleton.
He's still, Wolverine at least has a healing factor. Bullseye doesn't. He just has an adamantium skeleton that doesn't break.
Who knows?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's going to be very cool. We will see more Bullseye, I would imagine. And
then the last thing, then we can get to our movie review, but we also get the Dirty Cops. We notice they have Punisher tattoos. So it's kind of teasing the Punisher coming. Maybe.
What I think it is they think that the Punisher enacts a certain type of vengeance type deal. They think they're cleansing. Punisher is not going to be very happy when he finds out that these cops are doing that.
And that's how I think he's going to get.
And Punisher will be definitely happy to cleanse of a couple dirty cops. So.
Yeah. So I think that was a cool kind of little, teaser for him. I'm curious to see what old Frank Castle's been up to and kind of how he ties into this. Because we really haven't seen him since this show. At least we've gotten Charlie Cox as Daredevil in a couple things. We got him in No Way Home, Echo, She-Hulk. So, yeah, I'm curious to see, what Frank Castle's been up to. But I'm sure here in the next couple episodes we'll get him because, we saw those tattoos and he's not going to be very happy that these cops are,
No.
they think that
he will not be happy.
Yeah.
He will be going straight for him, and that's what makes the Punisher the Punisher, man. No one is,
no one's safe.
No
Not
one
even
is safe.
not even the cops. So, I don't. I'll rate the whole show when it comes out, but I will say like that pilot episode was a 10 out of 10. It was so good. It's one of the best pilots to any show I've honestly probably ever seen, at least in the past 10 years or so.
Not gonna say worth the wait because I'm really mad that we even it got canceled and we had to wait and all that, but they did make it fulfilling that now that the wait is over, we are very, very happy that it is back. So, good job from the Born Again creators and writers and cinematographer. They did such a good job. Kudos to them. They made it worth the while.
Great acting. Fighting sequences are great. The lighting, directing.
Fantastic job.
The sound work especially. Because he's deaf, that's a huge part of it. So
yeah, absolutely.
Literally you got the old score back, the old theme. Yep. Oh my God! So everything's firing on all cylinders. I absolutely love the first two episodes. I'm beyond pumped for the rest of the show. I think the next couple weeks we just get one episode, and then like randomly in the middle of the season we get two.
Yeah.
And then the last like 2 or 3 are just one. I don't know why they're doing it like that. I
thought it was going to beat the Thunderbolts, but I don't think it's even going to.
No, it is.
Oh, is it?
It
was going to...
Yeah, no, I think that's kind of maybe why they did it. Maybe they wanted it wrapped up before Thunderbolts. I'm curious to see if it has any kind of tie-in. I'm curious to see if there's any like MCU cameos. I think the director, the writer or whatever, like I think he teased like some major MCU cameos. So, we'll have to see who that is.
Absolutely.
Prediction is I feel like we might get like Kate Bishop or some kind of smaller characters like that, but
or we can get Spider-Man. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We got his cameo already.
Sony's not gonna let that happen.
Well, we got his cameo already.
Sorta.
Kind of spider shoot. All right, we gotta move on. We spent 30 minutes on Daredevil.
Well, deservingly so.
Yeah, no, it was definitely worth it.
So Daredevil Born Again was lit. We're very pumped for the rest of the season. Got some good TV and Severance and Daredevil. We're about to have the studio and Andor. We're eating good. We're eating good in the neighborhood. So
yeah, great movies, great TV shows.
Yeah,
and you got to come here to see your thoughts on it.
And to piggyback off the great movies comment. Me and Wilt just saw a great movie.
We did. Last night.
So the movie we're going to be reviewing this week is Mickey 17, the new film from Bong Joon-Ho. I think it's his first movie after Parasite, after it went on its crazy Oscar run and won everything. And starring Robert Pattinson as the titular character as Mickey 17. So... you can jump into it first and kind of explain the movie and give me your thoughts. But I will say from the jump, like we both did, really enjoy it.
Yeah, no, this was a great movie. Bong Joon-Ho again just really shows that, and this one was based off a book, but obviously he did the book justice. I hope. I haven't read the book, but this movie was very, very entertaining. I'm not gonna really go into a whole summary, but it's. Basically, Mickey is getting off Earth, and he wants to get off Earth to basically get away from a money guy that he owes money, whatever. Steven Yeun plays his friend, actually. Mickey gets off Earth, but he signs up as what they call an expendable, which is basically he is used for all these crazy lab rat stuff and expeditions, basically to die.
Over and over and over.
Over again. And they just print him out with most of his all of his memories basically intact. And they basically explain his body's made of trash that they recycle and put back together, which is hilarious because he's got all the blood in him and stuff like that. And everything works. But anyways, I'm gonna leave it at that because it really, I feel like if you've seen the trailer or anything like that, like we don't want to spoil the whole movie for you, but. You should go see it for yourself. Absolutely.
Yeah, so basically Robert Pattinson is getting cloned again a bunch, and the whole, movie sets off, it starts off, really when he he doesn't die when he's supposed to, and they reprint another version of him. So now there's 2 of them. There's Mickey 17, who is our main, Mickey, and then there's Mickey 18. So that's kind of where the chaos ensues. Once you see that there's 2 of them,
you're like, oh goodness,
and then like his girlfriend finds out, and then other people slowly start to find out, and like I said, chaos ensues.
Yep.
Crazy stuff.
Yep.
But right off the jump, we can both say Robert Pattinson in this movie is unbelievable. He is so good. And we were talking about it. I don't think he's really ever been in a comedy that we can think of. He's always been in, just either serious movies
I'll
or
say this.
like action
He's never
movies.
been in a like mainstream comedy like that has been widely promoted. Any of that.
He's been in He's been Twilight, like The Lighthouse,
Tenet.
Batman, Tenet, Good Times, maybe sort of, but Devil All the Time. He's just not really in a lot of like funny, silly, lighthearted stuff. And maybe he took advantage of that opportunity with this one, and he just went all out with the character, and he absolutely killed it. His little voice is so funny.
It doesn't even sound like him.
It doesn't sound like even though it's him, he disappears behind the character because the character is just so different and unique than anything he's ever played.
Yeah. Mickey 17 and Mickey 18 are different characters. They even have a little bit of a different voice. He does one of the best jobs at playing 2 characters I've ever seen. He is hilarious. He is emotional. He is rugged in Mickey 18, but he's also fearful with Mickey 17. If you don't have him as a if you don't think he's talented, if you just think of him as Twilight, Robert Pattinson, get it out of your head. Because Robert Pattinson, the last 3-4 movies we have seen him in, have been incredible. He is mainstream A-list actor who is very talented at what he does. He killed this role. I've never been... Like, you can think of a lot of characters. He is one of the most fun characters, one of the most fun performances I have ever seen. Like, he is that good. He is that thrilling. He literally, like, sometimes you have a side character carry a movie. No one held a candle to how good Robert Pattinson was in this movie.
And I know I said it to you last night. I don't think this movie works with another actor giving another performance. Like, it is 100% Robert Pattinson's movie, and I can't even think of anybody that would be able to do this. I
can't. I can't.
But yeah, no, obviously, obviously we're harping on Robert Pattinson, but the supporting cast was really good as well. Specifically to me, I think Steven Yeun was freaking hilarious.
Yep.
Almost every time he was on screen, he ripped a funny little one-liner, and he was just really, really, really funny.
Yes, he was.
You also get Mark Ruffalo and Toni Collette,
who I think do an amazing job, and their weird relationship over the top.
Very interesting characters. Then you kind of find out he's sort of a Nazi.
He is.
And they're trying to basically start. So they're starting this new colony on this new ice planet, and he's basically wanting to start the perfect race. That
is a quote that is said in the movie.
Yeah,
that is the quote that said he wants a perfect race, which he tells another supporting character that she should be the head of, or the basically DNA of. And she makes a funny comment about, "Oh, am I only a uterus to you?" It was funny. No, it is so funny. I didn't expect it to be that funny. I don't think
I didn't either.
And it is absolutely hilarious. I thought the characters had great chemistry. They were funny together. Even Mark Ruffalo and Toni Collette, if you watch the movie, you might think they're over the top.
But it's a
perfect over the top. Mark Ruffalo is so funny, making that little accent he has, and he's
obviously got the prosthetic teeth in or something,
Yeah, and Naomi Aki, I think that's how you say her name. She's really good as the love interest of Mickey, and it is just guys, I had it on my most anticipated list And man, it just was better than I thought it was going to be. It was better than I thought it was going to be.
It definitely was. Yeah, it was better than I thought it was going to be too. I definitely went into this thinking. Obviously, the trailers were like a little funny, but I definitely went into this more so thinking, oh, it's going to be an action sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
And it is a sci-fi movie, and there is a little bit of action. There's really not too much action.
No, there's not.
This is a comedy. Like, it is. I think I see this movie as a comedy. It is genuinely hilarious. Robert Pattinson just is unreal, and Stephen Yeun and Mark Ruffalo, they're all just, and even some of the super small characters like these actors and actresses I've never seen that were just like, you know, kind of a part of the whole crew.
Yep. They
had so many funny little quips here and there. Everyone just did a really, really good job. You could tell basically after the success of Parasite and it blew up and everything, Bong Joon-Ho basically got the chance to just make whatever he wanted.
He had free range.
They basically gave him like a blank check. They were like, Hollywood was like, you can make whatever movie you want. And he was like, all right, I'm going to make one of the wildest, most unique sci-fi comedy movies that anyone's ever seen. And he did that. We've already this year, you know, it's so refreshing to get an original, unique story. And I feel like we've gotten two this year, both in this and The Gorge, two, you know, very unique, non-franchise related, not his, you know, historical movies obviously. Yep. And just two, you know, unique stories. And this is definitely, I said it to you yesterday, it is unlike any movie I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
I literally don't know what I would compare it to at all.
No, it is itself.
It is its own movie. It's its own movie. We haven't really talked about it, but you kind of you get to know this alien race.
Yeah.
They call them creepers. I think that's the name Mark Ruffalo gave them, was creepers. And you know, obviously at first you think that they're dangerous, but then you know kind of come to find out that
they're
the
ones
good
that saved
and
Mickey 17.
They're passive, and they saved Mickey 17's life. And basically Mark Ruffalo like wants to experiment on them, and you know, blah blah blah. And
his wife wants to make
sauce
out of their tails.
You just got to watch the movie and see.
You got to, yep.
But yeah, that was quite weird. But yeah, so you got multiple Mickeys running around. You got this new alien race. You got Hitler, Mark Ruffalo. It's just a very weird, out there, bizarro, but so much fun movie. Literally, I unlike anything I've ever seen. So, I guess with that, like, we can kind of get into our scoring.
Yep.
I kind of had a little bit of trouble like ranking this, not score wise, but ranking it on the year. But I gave it 4.5 on LetterBoxd, and I gave it right now as it's sitting. I have it at an 8.6. Obviously, like that, you know, that rounds up to a 9. So I gave it 4.5 stars. I think I currently put it under The Gorge, but The Gorge was also an 8.6. I was really struggling with where to put what. I loved Mickey 17. I loved it. It was so funny. The hardest I've laughed in a movie theater in a while. But I don't know. I just also really, really loved The Gorge for different reasons. You know, it wasn't really funny, but it was just another wildly unique movie with two great acting performances and a really cool action. So, like, very cool, like I said, that we've gotten two unique, you know, sci-fi movies this year. One being a little more serious and action-focused, and one being more comedy-focused. So, yeah, no, still a great score. 4.5, like, literally almost perfect score.
Yep.
I put it at number 3 on the year. That could fluctuate, but I think, like, just me personally, like, I like romance stuff and, like, wild action and stuff. Yep. I think maybe a little more than comedy. So that's why I have Mickey at right under The Gorge. But same score, 8.6. Really, really good. What did you go with?
Yeah, so like Cole, I gave it a 4.5 stars on LetterBoxd. I am going a little bit higher than he went. I am actually going to be in the 9s for the first time this year. Excited to be here. Yeah, no, it is. I gave it a 9.1. I literally thought for so long, do I want to give it a 9? Is it an 8.9? Is it a 9.1? Is it higher than that? The thing that puts it so high is, seriously, I'm not kidding, I'm going to say it again, Robert Pattinson's performance in this movie is so fun. It is so good. It is unbelievable how well he plays two different characters with two different emotions with the same backstory. It is the same character, but it's not. And you'll understand that when you see the movie, because they kind of get into the whole concept of multiples, and it is really, you need to go see it. I think that the way they use color in certain parts of this movie is very good. In the spaceship and kind of the lower areas, it's very dark, it's very gray, it's very, not a lot of colors, but then, you see Mark Ruffalo and Toni Collette wearing these very expensive, colorful clothes, and that really, goes into, like, how class is portrayed in this spaceship. He does, Bong Joon-Ho as a whole, does the same thing with Class and Parasite with the way he tells that story as well.
And Snowpiercer.
Yeah, like and Snowpiercer, like, he is so good at telling these stories, but he does it all in a different way, right?
Three insanely different movies.
But, no, absolutely. Again, this movie is so good. If you are planning to go see it, or on the fence, or you're waiting for reviews to come out, and you happen to pick ours, go freaking see it, man. It is so good. Robert Pattinson kills it. I don't know if he'll get any awards recognition because we have to see how the rest of the year plays out.
And it's also really early.
Yeah, it's early. It's March. We have to see how the rest of the year plays out. But it is going to be a performance that I remember. And when I think of Robert Pattinson, obviously the Batman is unbelievable. And Twilight is just going to be on his resume that everyone thinks of. But I would not be shocked if I bring up Mickey 17 every time I talk about Robert Pattinson. We've seen how good he can be before. He might be better in this film. The supporting cast, like he said, Steven Yeun is so funny.
He's really
so funny. Naomi Aki is good. Kai's character, even in a little bit, she's in it. She's funny and, kind of gives into human emotion too during the whole...
her friend died, yeah.
Yeah, her friend dying, and then she's like, you have a Mickey, I want a Mickey, like all of that. And Mark Ruffalo and Toni Collette, it is really good. It's shot really well, I think. It's nothing, I don't think, outrageous, anything extraordinary, but sometimes you don't need to be extraordinary, and Bong Joon-Ho showed that before. He did it again. He hit a home run, I think, again. Obviously some people don't think that, like the people sitting to your left.
Literally immediately next to me.
The people next to Cole. But I think he hit a home run here, and I think Robert Pattinson hit one to the moon.
Yep. No, for sure. And like I told you, I will say again on here, like I completely acknowledge that this is 100% a better movie than The Gorge, but I base my rankings off of like my personal enjoyment more so than I think about quality. Because if you go off quality, what last year The Brutalist would have been, one or two.
Or The Brutalist or Dune 2 would have been at the top.
And The Brutalist would not have been my number 2 last year. So,
yeah.
I do more so based off of enjoyment, but I do recognize Mickey 17 is a much better made movie. Bong Joon-Ho is an incredible talent. Robert Pattinson, all of the acting, is obviously probably better than Miles and Anya in The Gorge, but just an enjoyment thing.
Yeah.
But they are both great movies. Mickey 17 is definitely the best movie in theaters right now, so we both
go check it out.
We both highly recommend it.
Go check it out.
We recommend everyone check it out because
it will be unlike any movie you've ever seen.
There's really nothing major coming out in the month of March that I can think of.
Yeah,
right?
We have personal movies that we are interested in, but
nothing major.
Big? No, I don't think there's anything crazy.
I don't know if there's another big movie until Sinners.
Yep, in April. That's on your most anticipated list.
It was. We got a trailer. We got a trailer for Sinners before Mickey.
Yeah, we did. Sick.
We're pumped. Trying to think. Yeah, no, that's our Mickey 17 review. That's episode 10 of the Frontline Film podcast. Yep. Look at us. We made it 10 weeks. We're having a lot of fun. I'm glad that we finally got to a movie on our most anticipated list.
Yeah, that was fun. I
think the next one for us will be Sinners.
Yeah, I actually wanted this to be known too. Most anticipated movies we're so excited for, and we have high expectations for. And this one blew mine out of the water, and that was on my list. Wasn't even on Cole's list. So, and I know he loved it. So, Yeah, man, this is a movie I really liked. It was above what I thought it was going to be, which I don't think I knew what it was going to be.
I didn't either.
But nah, man. Yeah.
Wildly unique. If you want a good, fun, original blockbuster,
with
if you
a
have
great
a good time,
acting performance,
you're gonna laugh. It's a little got some action in it, but you're really gonna laugh and be invested in the story. The like what it was like 140 minutes flies by.
Yeah, it did. It felt way shorter than that.
Does not feel like a 2 hour and 20-minute movie at all. It flies by, so I think everyone can find some enjoyment in it. And just once again, before we close out, shout out Robert Pattinson. Yeah, he was unreal, and I think he's finally starting. I think after the Batman, really cementing himself as like one of like the guys. Yep. So I don't know really what else we got him in until the Odyssey. Yeah,
there'll probably be something that comes out that we're just like, oh, he's in this. So we'll just have to see. And if he's in it, I will be seeing it from now on.
Speaking of the Odyssey, they're about to start filming.
They are.
Everyone's arriving on location. So, Robert Pattinson's going to be in that movie. I'm curious to see who he plays. Who's he play? What god does Robert Pattinson play? Who's a mischievous god? Like Hermes?
Yeah.
I can see Robert Pattinson playing Hermes.
I could see him playing anybody after the Mickey 17 performance. Just give him a script. He'll play it.
Yeah. That's Mickey 17. That's Daredevil Born Again. It's Severance and news. Once again, thank you guys for sticking with us and listening. Pretty cool that we made it 10 episodes and we were able to do it together. Kind of sweet.
Yeah, it just worked out, man. Just worked out.
We got to enjoy some beers.
Yeah. Next week, we don't know what we're doing yet. There's 2 movies that come out. We're trying to figure out if we want to see both or pick one, or you probably won't know until you see the title of next week's episode.
Yeah, we're gonna check out either Novocaine or Black Bag or both. But we'll definitely talk Severance for sure, episode 9,
Daredevil
and Daredevil, and hopefully more news comes out. We didn't get a ton of news this week, but hopefully we have a little bit more stuff to talk about next week. So I guess that's the episode. Anything else you want to say?
No, hey, make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to turn notifications on so you never miss when we upload. We upload shorts. We upload shorter form content.
Shorts have been popping off too.
Yeah, y'all have been doing a great job. We thank y'all so much for that. We have a TikTok. Obviously, we have our Twitter. And we post segments from the episodes. So if you don't want to watch the whole episode, we totally understand. We have little segments. So we'll clip them up and put them on the channel. And then, of course, as always, comment down below any thoughts you have from the episode. Do you agree with Mickey 17? Do you agree with Daredevil, Severance? Any of that? Is there news that we didn't talk about that you want us to talk about? Or if there is a review you really want to see, we will try our best to get it to you. So all of that, we really thank you guys. Y'all have been doing a great job. And episode 10 episodes. Next week will be episode 11. You'll know when we know about what movie we're going to review on the podcast.
It'll be a game time decision.
It will be a game time decision. Thank you guys so much for watching. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Yeah.